All right, clap it up. Shalom. We are the I.S.U.P.K. Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Johnathan. And we are not affiliated with any other Israelite group or organization. And what we do is seek the truth according to the Bible. All Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians are God's chosen people. And we are supposed to be still keeping the laws in the Bible, contrary to popular belief, contrary to what they teach in the Christian church. You can't live your life as a sinner and expect the Most High God to answer your prayers or to hear your prayers, contrary to, the most popular religion or belief in the world. You understand? So with that, clap it up again. All right, give me a second so I can share the classes. Let me mute my phone. Matter of fact, let me take it out of this case. Mute my phone real quick. And also let me go ahead and share the classes. We'll share this class to the different groups that we have. And not to mention, if this is your first time tuning in, this is your first time coming across I.S.U.P.K. right here in Kansas City, Missouri, go ahead and share, like, and subscribe. You know what I mean? To help push this algorithm and this truth. All right. So let me share to these different groups real quick. And we're going to go ahead and get started. Salakia for the slight delay. All right. We got all these groups. I want every brothers and sisters be active in all these groups, that we be creating in I.S.U.P.K. I feel like almost every day or every other day I get a group invite to some group, and then it's like I don't see people being active. Like we gotta, us as a nation as a whole, the internet and social media is where it's at. You understand? So we got to be more active on social media. You see all the wickedness being pushed on social media all day, every day. We have to be more active on social media because that's the new streets now. You understand? That's a metaphor, but that's the new streets. The internet and social media is the streets. So we got to be more active, and that's why it's important to like, share, and subscribe these videos. Not only the videos, the classes, the cookouts, all the information in the I.S.U.P.K. should be, it should be shared all the time. And all these groups, the brothers and sisters that are creating, if you're creating groups, be more active in your groups. You understand? We got to be more active on this social media because our oppressor and all the wickedness is aggressive with the wickedness. They want us to see wickedness all day. They want our children to see wickedness all day, all night. So we have to outwork our enemy. We have to outwork Satan. If we don't do that, then our enemy wins. You understand? Our enemy wins. And our enemy being the oppressor, the devil that the Bible speaks of, he's winning right now. So we have to do a better job pushing this truth, supporting this truth, and doing a whole lot more on social media because, like I said, this is the new streets. You understand? You can connect with someone instantly. I'm right here in Kansas City, Missouri, and you can connect with someone instantly. Let me scoot my chair over a little bit more. I feel like I'm kind of off center. I'm looking at the live, and I feel like I'm off center a tad bit. But you can connect with someone way across the globe. You can reach and inspire someone way across the globe. You understand? If you're in the I.S.U.P.K. that we always, well, not always, but if you came to our high holy day, if you come to the high holy days or you catch your Sabbath service, you'll hear our prayer. You know what I mean? And we'll always say, open up the internet and open up the airwaves so this truth can be pushed. So if you're creating groups and you're not active in the group that you create, like why'd you even send a request to somebody? You understand? So if you got groups going on, be more active in your groups. Be more active on TikTok. Be more active on Facebook and Instagram and every other social media site. And that goes for myself as well. But we have to push this truth. And one of the biggest ways that we're going to do it, is like Captain Tazariak. Every few minutes, I see Captain Tazariak posting something. You understand? The brother Sharatazai down there in Florida, my Levite brother, he's always active on social media, doing some type of content. You understand? I'm just shouting out, bigging up brothers. Kazak Ahmad, man, came a long way. He's extremely active on all social media platforms. All of us have to strive to push this truth on social media. because our brothers and sisters don't know what true brotherhood is. If they did, they wouldn't be out here in the streets in Kansas City unaliving each other. Matter of fact, let me look up the. Oh, before I do that, hold on. Salakia. You know how it is when you just get off your slave, you be thirsty than a mug. But I wanted to share this because let me get the dates first. First off, I want to big up Captain Marquardt, if I may. I want to big up Captain DeGalgabar. This past weekend, Captain DeGalgabar in St. Louis had a powerful lecture talking about the drugs and how it's affecting our communities. If you wasn't there, you missed it. He brought out a lot of information, tons of information on, how drugs have plagued the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community. Also, I want to big up Captain Marquardt again. Let me get the dates. I know I should know these dates by heart because we've been sharing it all over social media. But the Midwest barbecue is going to be in Chicago. So if you're in the Chicago area, if you're not in the Chicago area, come down to the Midwest barbecue in Chicago. And it's going to be all the events that's taking place is going to be from July 31st to August 3rd. So mark your calendars from July 31st to August 3rd will be the Midwest barbecue in Chicago, Illinois. You understand? And that's going to be, again, July 31st to August 3rd. Be there, Chicago. And the only criteria, you don't have to bring any money. The only criteria to come to the barbecue is that you have to be so-called Black, Latino, and Native Indian. And you can come to the cookout. Man, I ran across, and I was going to edit this video now that I'm thinking about it, because I remember when Captain Tazariot told that little Hamite that he couldn't come to the cookout. You know what I mean? When Sinetta, I believe he was with Sinetta, and Sinetta was calling him his brother. You know what I mean? But the Hamite understood that he wasn't our brother. He said if people did that to his people, that he wouldn't care for those people neither. He wouldn't care for those people neither. So if you know that clip that I'm talking about with Captain Tazariot, it was very powerful for people to see that, because they was like, damn, he went in on that little kid, but that little kid understood, because that little kid thinks in a way that we don't think. That little kid thinks as a free man. He thinks as a free Hamite, a free African. Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians here in America, we've been oppressed. So in our minds, there is no way that you can turn down anyone else from anything, because we've been turned down our whole life. We think that's wrong, when in reality, that's what we should be doing. We don't have that understanding because we've been bred and we've been taught to submit to every other nation, to submit to every other person besides our own people. We've been taught that instead of, loving each other, coming together like each other. We've been taught that. You understand? But the Most High God doesn't want us to be separate. He doesn't want us bowing down to these other nations, accepting these other nations. He wants us to love ourselves. He wants us to love our own nation. He wants us to love the Mexicans. You understand? He wants Negroes here in America to love the Mexicans, La Raza. You understand? So the sooner we come to the understanding that the Most High God chose us, that little African boy that Captain Tazariot said that he couldn't come to the cookout, it was no sweat to him because he understood. He understood. He understood enough to know that if people would have oppressed his people like we've been oppressed, he would be upset as well. He would have been upset as well. So mark your calendars from July 31st to August 3rd, the Midwest barbecue, the Midwest cookout, you understand, in Chicago, Illinois. Also, let me scroll back up. I want to big up my main man, Officer Malak. You understand? My camp leader down here in Kansas City. I want to big him up. He has a lecture coming up, a lecture. And if anyone knows Officer Malak, if you know anything about him, he is very well informed. He is very well spoken. He speaks very well and elegantly in a way that I can only wish I could talk. You understand? I'm just some nut, I ain't gonna call myself a nut no more. Hey, I'm just a brother from the hood that learned that he was an Israelite, and I'm doing my damn best job to try to, you know, push the word that I learned from the I.S.U.P.K up under Commander Johnathan. I'm just trying to do my due diligence. You understand? I'm just trying to do my due diligence. But that brother is very well educated, very well spoken, and he can deliver a message very well and clear to make you understand. So this lecture is going to be something to look out for. Mark your calendars for, okay. All right. The lecture is going to be called, the lecture is called Black Excellence. Black Excellence. And like I said, Officer Malak is very well studied. He's a history. He loves history. He loves history. And for me, I've been known as Black fatigue ever since I seen people talk about Black fatigue and how tired of Black people, like we haven't did anything for America. This is the lecture I'm definitely going to be tuned in, because I love hearing about Black excellence. And I guarantee he's going to bring out all the Black excellence that's written in the Bible, because the Bible is a book full of Black excellence, full of Black excellence. We just wasn't taught that God was Black. We wasn't taught that Jesus was Black. We wasn't taught that Moses was Black. We've been taught that all the people in the Bible was white. When that's a lie. That's a goddamn lie. It's written in the Bible what color the Jews are. It's written in the Bible what color God is. It's written in the Bible what color Christ was. But when you're a tore down people, when you're destroyed from lack of knowledge, you are up under the quick witchcraft. We, myself included, I once was up under the witchcraft of Christianity. I was up under Christianity, that witchcraft, that horrible religion that had me thinking Jesus was white. I used to think Jesus was white. I remember one of the last times I prayed to white Jesus. You want me to share? Y'all want to hear my story? I don't think y'all. I already probably think I talked too much already. Y'all want to hear my story? The last time I prayed to white Jesus, you know they say confession is good for the soul, right? All right, I'm gonna tell my story. The last time I prayed to white Jesus, right? It was about 2010. Yeah, it was about 2010, right? It's my last time praying to white Jesus ever in life. Hold on, make sure. All right, make sure I got this shared, Salakia. I'm just making sure I got this shared. Like I was saying, my last time praying to white Jesus was about 2010. Now, I was doing a prison sentence, right? And I got in trouble in the prison that I was in Leavenworth, Kansas. I got in trouble, right? So they rolled me, which means they sent me to another prison, you know what I mean, for disciplinary action. So they send me in transit to Oklahoma. I go to Oklahoma and wait to go to Beaumont, Texas. That's where they end up sending me, to Beaumont, Texas, right? So I leave Oklahoma. And keep in mind, right, they're going to put me on an airplane. They're going to go put me on an airplane. And this was my first time ever flying in life. I'd never been on an airplane before. My first time riding an airplane was in prison, right? So I'm leaving Oklahoma through transit from Leavenworth. I got in trouble from Leavenworth, Kansas, in the prison. They rolled me from Leavenworth to Beaumont, Texas. You understand? This was my first time riding a plane in life. So, you know, I'm chained up, shackled up, the whole thing, got on a jumpsuit, got shackles on, there's other brothers, all kind of other people who are locked up. They walking us to the plane, right? So, you know, we get on the plane, they, you know, lock you down in the seat, cuff you up or whatever. You still got on the chains or whatever. And I'm in the window. First time riding a plane, I'm in the window seat. I look out the window. You know what I mean? I look out the window. I look at the wings of the plane. And you wouldn't believe what I saw on the wings of the airplane. The wing of the, well, at least this wing, this side, I couldn't see the other side, right? So I look out the window and the wing had duct tape wrapped around the damn airplane wing. Can't make it up. I can't make it up. I look out the window of the airplane, first time ride the plane, it was duct tape on the window. Duct tape. You understand? Look, I started praying in my head right there. This is the last time I prayed to white Jesus, baby white Jesus. You understand? I was praying to white Jesus that day out of ignorance, as if he can save anything. When the white man is the one who tied the damn duct tape on the airplane. I'm in his prison system. I'm locked up because he put drugs in our community. And I fell for the snare, not to say that I should have been selling drugs, but they plagued our community and then they blame us. That's what our oppressor does. You understand? They blame us for the crimes when in any civilization, if they are, if they're poverty stricken or poverty, if I'm saying that word, if I'm saying this correctly, if they are poverty stricken, if they are stripped from resources, if they are being oppressed, any nation of people all throughout history is going to commit crimes because they don't have, if they had the right things to do, they would do the right things. But you tore us down as a people, you destroyed us, and then you go out and put drugs in our neighborhoods so we can make money. And then, you throw a rock, then hide your hands and act like nothing ever happened. And that's why this brotherhood is so important in the I.S.U.P.K, because we can teach brothers and sisters the correct way on how to live. You understand what I'm saying? Now, that's our oppressor. He had me in a airplane, the first time I ever flew in my life. I looked out the window and there was duct tape on the window. That was my last time praying to white Jesus ever. When I got out of prison, shortly after I got out of prison, I learned from watching a YouTube video of Captain Mashak Mayom. Give him a hand. Yeah, if you've seen any of his street teachings, you already know. When I seen him out there blazing, and it caught me. It caught me. That seed was almost, well, shit, it was planted instantly. I didn't come into the I.S.U.P.K instantly, but I knew I was an Israelite. I knew I was God black. I knew God was black, and I seen how powerful of a speaker he was. I seen how powerful of a brother he was, and I knew I needed some of that in my life. I knew I needed some of that in my life. And ooh-wee, when I did, it was glorious in my sight. Once I finally decided to let that be in my life, to let brotherhood finally be in my life one time, the only time. It was a beautiful and it was a glorious thing, man. But yeah, that was my story on how that was my last time praying to white Jesus. I remember it. How can you forget something like that? Like from never riding a plane in my life to going to prison, getting in trouble in Leavenworth, and then they sent me to a disciplinary spot, which is Beaumont, Texas, and they put me on a plane. I go to Beaumont, Texas, and in transit, when I get on this plane, I look out the goddamn window, Salakia, and the wing is duct tape. I said a prayer in my head to white Jesus. I don't remember the prayer, but I for sure said a prayer to white Jesus that day. You understand? Hey, what's going on, Adawan? Yabashim Ashrakatah, the water Adawan for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe if you tune it in, Baba Kasha. It helps push the algorithm. You understand? But yeah, true story. I'll never forget it. And but when I learned I was an Israelite, matter of fact, let me get a, what's that? Let me go to Psalms. You know, brothers already know this. This is Psalms 133. How good and how pleasant is it for brethren to dwell together in unity? You understand? Let me read that again in case y'all didn't hear it. Psalms 133. How good and how pleasant is it for brethren to dwell together in unity? How good and how pleasant is that? Before I knew the truth, like many others who don't understand the truth, and if you haven't heard the truth, according to the Bible, just think about it like this. Like you ever complain about going to your favorite spot. Like you may have a favorite club that you like to go to, right? And then you stop going because it gets shot up. You understand? Or they always fighting, or it's always an incident every week. But you enjoy that spot. You like going out, kicking it, being by your people, you know what I mean, listening to music, dancing, getting on some sisters. You feel what I'm saying? Showing off your whip, pulling up, whatever you like to do, whatever you like to engage in. But it always gets shot up. It's always a fight. Just imagine, this is the truth. This is brotherhood. Like if you ever been into an I.S.U.P.K event, if you ever been to the Lord's Passover, if you ever been to one of our cookouts or to any of our events or high holy days or anything like that, one thing that you're going to notice is how unified that we are. One thing you're going to see is how pleasant it is that we're all around each other. That's a beautiful thing. No one getting shot at, no one getting stabbed or beat up, no one trying to talk to your wife, no one trying to diss you, no one trying to shame you. Everybody just coming together in unity. You understand? That's a pleasant thing, to have unity amongst brethren. And when I say brethren, I'm talking about blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. All 12 tribes, not just Judah, not just Benjamin and Levi. We're talking about all 12 tribes coming together in unity, man. The Bible says that is good and pleasant for brethren to dwell together in unity. We understand that it's going to take some work for us to dwell together in unity. You understand? Things are not going to be perfect. Things are not going to be perfect. Everybody coming into the truth at one time. You understand? Brothers deal and battle with certain demons. And, you know, over time, depending on that brother and sister, how strong that brother or sister spirit is, they defeat the demon. And then they learn how to keep defeating the demon, because the demon doesn't go anywhere. The demon is just going to try to find new, clever ways to make you fold. But the brotherhood, and what's so beautiful about the brotherhood, you have men above you that can show you, you know, how this demon may try to come, how this demon may try to, you know, slick his way back into your life. You understand? People that are going to hold you accountable for your actions versus, like, you know, your homies in the world is what led you to go to prison. Your homies in the world is what led you to get shot. Your homies in the world is what led you to have the horrible life. Not even only your homies, your Christian pastor, your family, because a lot of times we are ignorant when it comes to the Bible. We don't understand the truth according to the Bible. We don't understand how important unity and brotherhood is. We don't understand or can't grasp the concept of how pleasant that is, because we have been taught the opposite. We have been living our lives, our entire life, the opposite of what the Bible teaches. And see, that's the problem. We haven't figured that out as a nation yet, that that's the problem. We haven't figured that out yet. You want to know why we haven't figured that out? Can anybody guess why we haven't figured that out yet? You understand? Anybody ever want to figure that out? Why haven't we figured that out? Whose fault is that? Let me turn this down because I need to check the comments over here real quick. Check the comments over here. Salakia. It's your Christian pastor's fault. It's your Christian pastor's fault. You understand? Your Christian pastor is the whole reason we don't know the truth, because they sold out to our oppressor. They didn't want to teach the truth, because in order to teach the truth, you have to change things about yourself. So, you know, the pastor would rather have you just be content with the lies that they tell in order for them to keep gaining and getting ahead. They make your lives horrible by teaching you lies. And then they wonder why we can't dwell together in unity. They wonder why brotherhood and sisterhood is such, it seems like such a, what's the word I'm looking for? It seems like it's almost not too good to be true. Not unbearable. I can't think of the word. It's a simple word. It seems like it can never happen, you know, for lack of a better word, or for lack of a better word. It seems like it can never happen, like it's impossible. That's what I wanted. Brotherhood in the Christian church seems like it's impossible because, they teach everyone that you can have a personal and individual relationship with God. You understand? You can't have a personal relationship with the Most High and think that you can live out your brother. What if Christ had a personal relationship with the Most High? How would that work out for the nation of Israel? Can anybody answer that? Can any Christian answer that? If Christ had a personal relationship with God, how would that work out or benefit the rest of his nation? How? I don't think it would. I don't think it would. I mean, it don't sound like it would. I mean, but correct me if I'm wrong. If Christ had a personal relationship with God, how would that benefit everyone else? But that's what they teach in the Christian church. You got to have a personal relationship with God. Jesus didn't have a personal relationship with God. He wanted what he had. He wanted to show the entire nation, the entire world of Israel, what we could do by our obedience to God and having faith. He didn't keep that for himself. He wanted the entire nation of Israel to experience that. He wanted us all to follow what he did by the examples that he laid. See, your Christian, pastor is a greedy glutton. Yes, he's just a greedy glutton nigga, for lack of a better word. He's a greedy, lustful nigga. And the women too that be teaching in them churches, they some greedy, lustful niggas too in the Christian church. Here they are telling you got to have a personal relationship with God. And you going home with 8 kids in a studio apartment, and your pastor's pulling off in the latest, what's something that they like to drive, them pastors, Mercedes. He pulling off in the latest Phantom. He's pulling off in the latest something. He's wearing the latest shoes. He's got the biggest house, but he's going to tell you it's personal. You know what I mean? See, my personal relationship with Jesus, it bought me blessings abundantly. You just got to pray more. You just got to get a better relationship. When Christ, Yahweh, he wanted what he wanted what the Most High God had for him for the entire nation. You understand? Christ didn't say it was personal, but yet your Christian pastor will. Your Christian pastor will tell you it's personal because he don't give a damn about you. He don't give a damn about you. You understand? So, one thing what I wanted to speak on before I got into my topic, and I saw, and I'm still seeing a lot of the back and forth with the the ICE and I.S.U.P.K brothers, the so-called Mexicans down there in LA, and you still got brothers who are not in the truth. Y'all need to be in the truth, but they're still trying to keep blacks and Hispanics from coming together. You got to think this is a fear for our oppressors to really know who we are. You understand? They don't want us to know the God that we should be serving. They want us to know Caesar Borgia. They don't want us to know Yahweh. They don't want us to know Yahweh. They don't want us to know the Most High. You understand? Because they're not trying to teach you how God thinks. They're not trying to teach us how God thinks. They want to teach us Christian rhetoric and philosophy given to us by our oppressor. That philosophy that we learned in the Christian church keeps us slaves. The moment we break free from the chains and we understand that we are the same people, I'm talking about blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, we come from the same forefathers. You understand? We don't come from Ham. We don't come from Japheth. We come all from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You know what I mean? So the sooner that we realize that, the better off blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are going to be. And it's just a written fact. And when I say written fact, because that's biblical. You understand? Let me get this precept before I keep moving on. So I read it, Psalms 133, and I'll read it again before I move on. This is Psalms 133, verse 1. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. If we have more unity amongst ourselves, we would be a threat to any other heathen, uncircumcised nation. We would be a force to be reckoned with. It says in the Apocrypha, back in ancient time, I can't remember what book, chapter, verse, but it says in the Apocrypha, and you can look it up, that the heathen, the uncircumcised, they knew that if they could get us to commit crimes against the Most High God, that they would prevail over us, because the Most High God is our power. The Most High God is our power. You understand? The Bible was written for us. The laws were given to us. And let me read that real quick. I'm going to go. Matter of fact, I'm already in Psalms. So I'm already in Psalms. So let me go down to Psalms 147. Matter of fact, I want to read a couple of other scriptures, but this is Psalms 147, and I'm going to start at verse 2, right? And it says, Yahweh doth build up Jerusalem. Yahweh doth build up Jerusalem. Jerusalem is us. That's our city. That's where we're from. We're from Jerusalem. You understand? And he builds it up. You understand? Let me keep going. He gathered together the outcasts of Israel. The outcasts of Israel. We are the outcasts of Israel right now. We've been scattered abroad. We're not in Jerusalem right now. We've been scattered everywhere. We are outcasts in our enemies' eyes. We are outcasts to the world, like the I.S.U.P.K, the Mexicans are looked at as outcasts today. We are looking at our Mexican brothers like they are outcasts, like they are public enemy number one, as if our oppressor, the so-called white man, hasn't done enough damage to both of us. How can we be so, when they talk about the black fatigue, right? How can we be so ignorant of what our oppressor has done to us for years, and we fatigued on our own? That's how you know it's an agenda. That's how you know our oppressor is behind it. Anytime you start seeing a bunch of videos, a bunch of TikToks, a bunch of this, a bunch of that, saying the same thing, that's how you know it's an agenda, because they never do that with school shooters. You understand? Or casino shooters, or people who go out and just shoot random people. Some nut with an AR-15 going out committing terrorist attacks right here in their own damn country. But against, whether it be the Lord's chosen people like Dylan Storm Roof, or whether it be against their own damn nation, you never hear them say any of the propaganda or push any of the propaganda like they do us, as if our oppressor doesn't do all these things that we do. But for some reason, they want to weaponize all these things against us to make us look less than human. Because if you can make a person or a nation of people be perceived as less than human, then everyone is going to look at those people like they're the target. You understand? They want the Mexican brothers here in America to be the target. And that's the whole reason why Donald Trump got elected as president, because he said that he was going to target the so-called Hispanic tribe, the I.S.U.P.Kites, according to the Bible. He said he was going to target them. Now, he said he was going to try to get rid of all illegal immigrants, but for some reason, they're mostly focused on one. You understand? You don't think it's any Chinese illegal immigrants? You don't think it's any French illegal immigrants? South African illegal immigrants, like what's his name? Elon Musk. He's an illegal immigrant. But for some reason, it's okay that, he can stay here in America. But the ones who make America thrive, the ones who make America great, the ones who do all the jobs, everybody complains that they're taking the jobs. They do all the jobs don't nobody want. And they don't get any credit for any of that. They're looked at as if they're the scum of the earth, when the scum of the earth are the wicked of the earth. The scum of the earth is who had both of us oppressed at one point in time. The scum of the earth has never taken accountability for any of the actions that they done of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Yet they just continue to make excuses. They continue to weaponize and use propaganda to push narratives that we just pieces of shit. Salakia, like we just pieces of garbage. They continue to do these things. That's why the Most High God has to come and judge America. That's why the Most High God has to come and judge Donald Trump. That's why the Most High God has to come and judge the French, has to come and judge the Irish, has to come and judge the Africans. The Most High God has to come and judge this entire earth for his loved ones, for his people. You understand? And this is what we have to start preparing ourselves for. And the only way to start is to start realizing who you are at first. You got to realize who the hell you are. You understand? You can't keep calling yourself a Christian. You can't keep living by the white man's law, thinking that that's it, the end all be all. Now, hell no. Hell no. So let me go back to verse 2. Yahweh doth build up Jerusalem. He gathered together the outcasts of Israel, the outcasts of Israel. You understand? Right now, the Issacharites are public enemy number one. And they're trying to push us together like the Judites against the Mexicans or the Mexicans against the blacks. You understand? We looking at other Israelites and looking at other Israelites like they are outcasts right now. America looks at us all like we're outcasts. You understand? Verse 3, he healeth the broken in heart and bindeth up their wounds. The Most High God is the one who's going to heal all of us. He's going to fix all our problems. He's going to heal all our wounds. You understand? The Most High God is going to fix it. We just have to obey. We just have to have faith. We have to come together and put together our differences and stop loving our oppressor system. Because that's why we are at odds. Because we are thinking like we're our oppressors and we're not. We're not. We think like we're oppressors, but they're oppressing us. And then not only are they oppressing us, when we think like our oppressors, we start oppressing each other. So it's like, damn, if I go left, I'm going to get oppressed. If I go right, I'm going to get oppressed. We have to be healed. Our wounds have to be healed. The Most High God is the perfect power to heal us. That's why the I.S.U.P.K is so important, because you can come in here and get healed. We can all come together and get along. We all can repent for the sake of the Most High God, for the sake of Yahweh Shah, for the sake of this brotherhood. We can repent. And once we repent, I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. Those wounds will be healed. Those broken bones can be fixed. All that oppression and not knowing who we are and finding out who we are, we can start healing ourselves, man. But first, we have to admit that we have a problem. We have to admit that we have an enemy. We have to admit that we have, Salakia, been disobedient to the Most High God. We have to admit that. We have to. You understand what I'm saying? So let me jump down to verse 19. Now, this is where it gets heavy. This is where it gets heavy. This is why we're in the position that we're in. This is why we have to pay attention. This is why we have to keep fighting. We don't have time to keep chilling, relaxing, kicking our feet up, wiggling our toes, you know what I mean? Having fun all the time. Listen, our oppressors, these heathens, are getting ready to go to war. You understand? It's this close. It's this close. They're bombing, sending missiles. And here we are, caught in the middle. Here we are as blacks, Negroes, Judites, worried about the Mexicans taking jobs from us. When your oppressor is going around the world conquering everything, taking every damn thing that he wishes, he takes everything that he wishes. But you're worried about brothers and sisters who are coming over here trying to take care of their children, trying to get health care for them babies. You understand? Working jobs all day, all night to take care of those babies. And you don't have any compassion on the Mexicans? You don't have any compassion on La Raza? Shame on you, man. Shame on you. So what? We were the forefront of the civil rights movement. Guess what? All those damn civil rights are gone. And who benefits from civil rights more than the so-called Mexicans? Your oppressor. These other heathens benefit way more off the civil rights movement. I said music movement than our people and brothers and sisters could ever benefit. So what if they benefit? The LGBTQ benefit. The Chinese benefit. The Africans benefit. All these other nations benefit. You mean to tell me that the I.S.U.P.K, because they get jobs, doing jobs no one wants to do, jobs Judites, niggas think they too good to do? You understand? That's one thing about my Mexican brothers and sisters, man. They are not lazy. They are not lazy. They don't get the government aid and assistance because a lot of them are over here illegally. So they have to really work. They know what real work is. And then you're going to team up with Donald Trump because they want to come over here and have a better life, just like the Africans. Just like the Africans. And the Africans, guess what? The Africans don't even like you. They don't like us because we're not African. Matter of fact, let me play this clip if I can find it real quick. Real quick, if I may. I think I found it. Check this clip out. Check this clip out of this Hamite, this disgusting Hamite woman. This is how she views us. You fought so she can come over here because you're always talking about the Mexicans are racist. You're always talking about the Mexicans don't rock with us. The Mexicans don't get along with us. Guess what? Africans don't either. But you don't hear niggas complaining about the Africans. That baffles me. That's crazy. You don't hear us talking about the Chinese. We go support their hair stores. We go support their businesses. We let them come to the hood. As long as they can dance. Who cares if the Mexicans benefit off the civil rights movement? Every other nation benefits off the civil rights movement. You understand? Look at this. Look at this disgusting beast.
9-year-old nurse. I hate the end of story. So before this any come together, there's a lot of hatred, disdain, and jealousy that needs to be removed. A lot of dead weeds. This is a 59-year-old nurse that's about to say what you're about to say. Africans and African Americans, we've never gotten along. Not today, not yesterday, not 20 years ago, not 100 years. We've never gotten along. We don't get along. All I'm saying is that stay in your lane and I stay in my own lane. I don't have any interest or desire to have that kind of relationship that I know will never be. There is no need for me to pretend to like you. You don't like me, and I with my full chest. I don't like you either. So this with her full chest. We're supposed to come together. Don't ask me to come and join you to march down the street for whatever cause it is you're marching. I'm not coming to march anywhere with you. So all I'm saying is that, why are we here asking each other to get along? Thinking that, we think African sisters were better than, I think I'm African, I'm better than African American. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't have any African American friend. I don't need to be friends with any African American. There's nothing friendship with them that I find interesting through in university. I don't have any ounce of interest in developing any type of relationship with any of my African Americans. I don't have any interest. Zero. If I see you coming down the road,
Yeah. I turn around and go the other way. I don't have any interest whatsoever to have a relationship with you. I hate them. I hate them. End of story. There is no solution. I hate them. Period. Saying I beat my full chest to say I take ownership of how I feel. You don't have to expose me. I will tell you how I feel. You don't have to second guess me and say, oh, these people are this thing, that thing, and I'm going to expose them. You are not exposing anything. Me, I will tell you how I feel. And I'm telling you how I feel.
Well, in conclusion, anyone, a lot of them.
Well, you heard it out the African's mouth. She said, I say it with my full chest. And look, in a blackity black, some Negro, they'll defend her. They'll defend it. Oh, she's just, they just don't understand because, we lazy. We'll blame ourselves for that stinking Hamite to say how much she hates us. We'll blame ourselves. Well, we got to do better. We're lazy. We sell drugs and sag our pants and smoke weed. Africans eat monkeys. Did you know that? They call it bushmeat. They do all kind of weird, crazy stuff over there in Africa. They got drugs. You understand? They ghetto and do ratchet stuff too. You see them twerking them big funky behinds like Africans. You understand? No different than any other nation that has poverty, that's poverty stricken. But you will accept this Hamite, but you won't accept the Mexican brothers and sisters. She can benefit from civil rights movement, but the Mexicans can't. You got to make that make sense. Because we always say, we quick to say that the Mexicans hate us. We quick to say that. But here you have an African saying with her full chest, she ain't dealing with us. She not rocking with us. But we continue to try to say, blend in with the Africans. We steadily try to be with the Africans. They ain't rocking with us, dog. At all. At all. So let me go back to my precept. It's in Psalms chapter 147, verse 19. He sheweth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. Verse 20, he have not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Most High. Praise ye Yahweh. So yeah, he gave us laws, statutes, and commandments, and his judgments. If we break the commandments, he gave that to us. That's why we're being oppressed today, because that's a curse. We're being cursed for our disobedience against the Most High God. We're being cursed for not having brotherhood. We're being cursed for hating each other. We're being cursed for serving other gods. We're being cursed for thinking that we're African. We're not African. We're not African. We're not Hamites. You understand? All the proof is there. That Hamite, she wasn't lying. She can't stand us. I haven't been around too many Hamites that just, they don't. I've been around a lot of Mexicans. And even if I know, like, they kind of standoffish, they're not like an African. They're not like an African, man. They not. You know what the dead giveaway is, all right? The dead giveaway is the scent. La Raza smells nothing like Hamites. I don't know how I don't know how you get a scent. I don't know how the Africans or the Hamites, like, I don't know how they odor, like why they body odor is so aggressive. It's like hella aggressive. Like they body odor is hella aggressive. Like for real. You understand? But like I'm saying, the laws, and according to Psalms chapter 147, 19 and 20, he gave his word unto Jacob. Jacob is the 12 tribes of Israel, Black, Latinos, and Native Indians. You understand? His statutes and his judgments to Israel. That's why we seem like we can't climb out of this hole. That's why nothing we do seems to work, because we haven't came together as a nation to start serving the Lord. That's why it seems like nothing that we do will ever work. Because if you're going to turn down the Mexicans, if you're going to turn down the Haitians, if we're going to turn down ourselves and turn on each other, it will never work. It will never work. And this is why. Let me get another scripture. This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1. The Bible says this. We got to do this. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired. You got to gather together, O nation not desired. You understand? You have to gather together, O nation not desired. Now, we know, and when I say we, I mean so-called blacks, I mean Judites here in America. We know through history, we wasn't desired. We know Trayvon Martin wasn't desired. We know Emmett Till wasn't desired. Hell, they gave Martin Luther King a holiday and made him the face of, he's like of a melting pot. Martin Luther King represents like a race orgy. He's like a race orgy. They made him the face of a race orgy. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody just coming together and doing all what the hell you want to do. All the different races just mix like a goddamn salad. Martin Luther King is the face of that. You see what I'm saying? So he still wasn't desired, because what did they do to Martin Luther King? Is he alive with his children and with his wife and his family? None of us were desired. Now, fast forward. Not to say that the I.S.U.P.Kites, the Mexicans, were desired back then either. They wasn't desired back then. We, the Judites, we were just more on the forefront. We were more in the, the public's eye with it. You see what I'm saying? Because it was actually black and brown unity back then. It just wasn't, pushed or talked about like how it is to now, like how you're starting to hear about it now. You understand? But we, at that time, we were the part of the nation that wasn't desired, and we're still not desirable. But now the I.S.U.P.Kites are not desired in the public eye. Now the propaganda has shifted, or not. I'm not even going to say shifted. The propaganda has opened up to include them, to put it in the public eye, to push the propaganda even further. That's what's happening now. And I'm going to read it again. Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired. That's important. That's important. Instead of hating each other, we have to realize that we are one. And I know that seems like a hell of a high hurdle to jump. You understand? It seems like a 10-foot hurdle to jump. Like, damn, you mean to tell me y'all gonna try to bring Mexicans together with the Puerto Ricans, Puerto Ricans together with the Cubans, Cubans together with the Dominicans together with Haitians, Haitians together with Jamaicans, Jamaicans together with so-called African Americans? You mean to tell me you're gonna bring all these niggas together? All these niggas together? Man, come on. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. I know that seems like a hell of a high hurdle to jump, but it's impossible. I mean, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. Because once we realize our common denominator, one, we all have the same enemy. Two, none of us are desired by the rest of the world. Prove that I'm lying. None of the tribes that I just named are desirable when it comes to the world. Tell me I'm lying. And not desired like, they look at us like sexually, or they look at us because we can play basketball. No, that's what I'm not. That's not what I'm talking about. That's also part of your oppression. That's also part of our oppression, being desired only for, what they want to use us for. They don't desire us and look at the nation of Israel like we're human beings, because we are not desired. You understand? And we don't come together, and we don't keep the Most High God's laws. Like I stated earlier, it's a And if anybody's watching, if you know that precept, feel free to put the precept in the chat, Baba Kashat. In the Apocrypha, it says that the other nations knew that if they can make us sin against the Most High God, they can have power over us. And, they can come and do what they want with us. That's in the Apocrypha. I can't remember the book, chapter, verse. So keep that in mind. We're not supposed to be desiring heathen women or heathen men. You're not supposed to be sleeping with Africans. You're not supposed to be marrying white women. You're not supposed to be marrying Chinese. You're not supposed to be marrying, name some more, Greek women, Jewish women. None of them women or men, sisters neither, vice versa. That is unlawful. And that's what keeps our nation down. That is what is going to keep continuing to divide us, continue to keep us in oppression. That is what is destroying Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, man. Our disobedience to the Most High God. And that's what happens. Now our oppressor gets higher, 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 and higher, and higher above us. They get higher above us. You see what I'm saying? So if our oppressor keeps getting higher above us, and then we're at the bottom, all scraping, scrambling, trying to make a way out of no way, fighting each other, unaliving each other because of our oppression, that's because we are all desired. The proof's right there. The proof's right there. Like I said, we are the undesirable according to the Bible, and according to, you can just look up the statistics. You understand? You can just look up the statistics, how undesirable we are. But it's the truth. It's the truth. Verse 2, before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the shaft, before the fierce anger of the Most High come upon you, before the day of the Most High's anger come upon you. So what is it saying right here? What is it saying right here? Think about it. In Christianity, they just teach that God is just happy all the time. You know what I mean? The Christian God is like the Christian God, whatever God they believe in Christianity, it's like he's playing, what's that game that my kids play on Nintendo Switch? It's a dancing game. Like he just sit up on the clouds and dance all damn day. That's the Christian God. He just sit up on the cloud and dance all day. Dance, play a tambourine, and he just blow kisses down on the earth. That's how I imagine a Christian God. Like he never gets mad at nothing. He just up on the clouds, dancing on top of the clouds. And then it's like I pictured a Christian guy like he got a bag on him like a big purse. And he's just throwing rose petals and rainbows out of it. And he's just blowing kisses to the earth all goddamn day. That's the Christian God. That's how I imagine a Christian God in Christianity. He never gets mad. That's why the people who put black people in slavery for over 400 years. That's why the people who fed live babies to alligators. You understand? People who ripped babies out of women's wombs. People who hung and lynched people, set people on fire, people who did all these cruel acts to another nation. That's why they can go to the same heaven as the slaves who are being oppressed by them. I don't know if I want to serve a guy like that, because I'll be down. Just imagine, look, you loved your slave master while he was beating your back in, while he took your wife, while he made young boys sleep with their mothers blindfolded. Y'all know all the nasty, hideous things they did in slavery. But in Christianity, you would have to go to the same heaven as your oppressor and love them all over again. Tell me that ain't insane. Like I said, that's the Christian God. He's up there dancing with a purse, with a big purse bag, and he's sprinkling rose petals and rainbows, and he's blowing kisses to the earth all goddamn day. That's Christianity. Anybody can get in heaven. Anybody? Tell me I'm lying. But the Bible says this. Let me read it again. Before the decree bring forth, before the decree bring forth, the decree bring forth. What's the decree? He already said it. Gather yourselves together, O ye nation not desired. We have been disobedient against the Most High God. It's written in the Bible, the wages of sin is death. So I don't see how the Christians or Christianity or the Christian church teaches that God is all love when it's written in the Bible, the wages of sin is death. You see what I'm saying? So before the decree, it seems like if we don't obey what was just said in the first verse, there's going to be a decree. There's going to be something that happens before the day passes as the shaft. Think about a shaft. Like you throw a damn, what are those things called? Like a javelin, like a spear. The shaft on a javelin, the shaft on the spear. You throw it, it's flying. It's going quick. The day is going to pass quick. You seem like you got all the time in the world because they don't teach you what the hell grace is in the Christian church. You understand what I'm saying? They don't teach grace correctly. Grace in the Christian church is magical. I never understood what grace was. Oh, brother, we just covered in grace. We all just living in grace. We got grace. When grace is just the time, the grace will run out. You don't want grace to run out before you know it. It may seem like you can get away with every sin that you're doing against the Lord, but then when the judgment comes, it's going to be like a blink of an eye. The day is going to pass fast. You've been getting away with this sick, twisted mindset that we've been stuck on because of oppression and because of the lies according to the Christian church. We've been stuck on that all down our whole life. But then when we get judged, it's like a shaft. The day passes like a shaft, fast. Meaning you're not going to be ready. It's going to pass so fast that in a blink of an eye, you're going to be judged. The anger of the Most High God is going to come upon us for our disobedience because we don't want to love the Mexicans. You understand? Because we want to hate our brothers and hate our sisters. Like your oppressor taught. Yeah, our oppressor taught us how to hate each other. The oppressor taught us how to hate each other. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So the day is going to pass like a shaft before the fierce, not only was it anger, but we're talking about a fierce anger. Fierce anger. I told this story a couple of weeks ago about the brother that used to play in The Wire, the little dark-skinned, brown-skinned brother. Hold on, let me see if I can find him real quick. Hold on, give me 1 second. Salakia. Let me see. For some reason, is anybody else YouTube not working? Maybe it's just mine. Let me see if I can find this. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Okay, here you go. I found it. Here you go. Check this out. Fierce anger. Think it when you fierce anger. This is the Most High.
After I just got out the I just got out the hospital. I'm getting ready to go see my son at ICU. 3 p.m. today, a tornado came through Henry County, Locust Grove, Atlanta. I lost my house. I lost everything in it. And thank God I'm still living. I survived the tornado. My son, he survived. the video to let y'all know right now, man. Church life as much as you can. Like, we was just, me and my son had a beautiful day today. Big Tigger show. We was with Snoop from the wild. We was chilling. And 3 o'clock today, a split second, my house is gone. I just got out the hospital. I got this bruise on my head. I wish I could replace the pain with my son, though. I wish he was the one that was doing the video and I was still at ICU. But I just got my phone back because I just crawled through where I was. And luckily the phone wasn't broke. I found it. But anything else I don't have. Shout out to all my neighbors in my neighborhood who ran to my rescue. My son was thrown 300 feet out of his room. And I was sitting on my bed and I heard the wind and I felt the everything and was wrapped up in the damn covers. From watching your house be built from the ground up in 2020 to 5 years later, that now everything gone. I just got out the hospital. I'm getting ready.
So let me go back to the verse. You understand? Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the shaft, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you. Did you just hear that, brother? He said he was having a normal day with his son. A tornado hit his house. They wasn't prepared. In the blink of an eye. You understand? Before the day passed as the shaft. Before the day passed as the shaft. You understand? That's how you know that the Lord is just not all love. That the Lord is just not all hugs and kisses. You understand? The Lord allows these things to be created in the earth. Tornadoes, earthquakes. You never know how the Most High God is going to send judgment. So when they say only God can judge in the Christian church, you're right. Meaning, he's the only one that can harm a hair on your head. He's the only one who's allowed to put you in your place. Right now isn't the time for the men to cast out the judgments or the acts of judgment according to breaking God's laws. But we can warn you. What we're reading right now is a warning. So you can't get offended if I tell you you got to come together with the Mexicans, because that's what's written in the Bible. I'm trying to protect you. Commanding General Johanna is trying to protect you from what? From what? I'm going to read it again. He's trying to protect us from the fierce anger of the Lord. So if you were wise, or if you understood the Bible, you would take heed of the warning, and you wouldn't look at it like, oh man, you niggas always trying to judge. You always trying to judge somebody. Like, no, we're not judging you. We're telling you. We're not the ones that's going to create a tornado and your son gets sucked up out of the house and thrown 300 feet out of the damn house, and your son's in ICU, which is terrible, which is sad. But we never know how the Most High God is going to send judgment. It's going to be like a blink of an eye. Do you think we wanted his son to be thrown out of the house 300 feet? Do you think we want to see our Hispanic brothers and sisters fighting America, fighting the National Guard? Do you think we want to see their children in ICE detention centers, sleeping in dog kennels? But when we tell you that you got to stop celebrating Christmas, you have to stop celebrating the Day of the Dead. You have to stop smoking and getting high. You have to stop committing adultery. You have to stop sleeping with another man's wife. When we tell our people that, they don't want to hear it. But as soon as something bad happens, everybody wants to pray, bow down to their knees, when we already told you the solution. The Bible says this: he that hath ears, let him hear. Meaning, those that can receive the understanding of what somebody is trying to tell them, somebody is trying to help you and love you, you should take heed to that, man. That brother said his son was thrown 300 feet from his room. Now his son is in ICU. That house was built in 2020, and the tornado knocked it down in a matter of seconds, or maybe even minutes, right? It took way faster for the house to come down than him to put it up. I guarantee that. It took longer to build the house than the house to be destroyed. I guarantee that. Because judgment is going to come like that in a blink of an eye, as the shaft. As the shaft. So, the Bible's telling us to come ye together, O nation not desired. O nation not desired. All right. So, I want to go to my next verse. I think I want to go. Okay, I'm gonna go to First Samuel. First Samuel. So I'm gonna get off into my subject. All right, before I do that, let me go back to. See, that's why I be happening. If y'all remind me, because if y'all make comments, look, when I'm on here, for anybody who's watching, when I'm on here, when I'm like looking at the screen, all my comments don't pop up. Salakia. So I just want to shout out to Sister Yanak, my sister, Yanak Ahab, Shalom Yahweh Shema Alatah Bashim Yahweh sis. Good sister right there. Yeah, shout out my sister. So where do I want to go back in 7? So I'm gonna get off into my subject real quick. Make sure it ain't no other comments locking. All right, so let me get back to it. So we're gonna talk about King David and King Saul before we get up out of here. I said, well, actually, King David and Johnathan. I'm gonna more so focus on that. So this is giving a clear depiction on like what brotherhood is. You see what I'm saying? Like Johnathan and David, like they was rocking, right? You know, before King Saul. So like if you know the story of King David, right? King David, he was a sheep herder. Goliath and these armies, the Philistines, they wanted to come evade Israel. So they wanted to send their best warrior, which was Goliath, some big, stupid, ugly Hamite who was strong. He's been warned since he was young. He sounded like he was that guy. Yeah, for the Philistines. And then, nobody wanted to challenge Goliath because everybody was scared of him. You know why everybody was scared? And this is why the I.S.U.P.K say fear is a virus. You understand? You ever hear General Muhammad say that? Fear is a virus. Y'all familiar with that? Or am I by myself? Am I tripping? Well, anyway, nobody wanted to come up against Goliath, but it was one brother that did. And Saul asked the brother, he's like, David. He said, man, you kind of young. You don't look like you get down like that. You don't look like you get down like that, dog. And David like, who you talking about? Who, me? Man, look, I remember when it was a lion, and I believe it was a bear. Correct me if I'm wrong. He said, man, you know I watch my pop's sheep, and I ain't let nothing harm these sheep. I take my thing, I handle my business for real. And so David letting Saul know, like, look, I'm a stepper. A lion tried to come mess with my dad's sheep, and I grabbed the lion by the beard, and I did what I did. I did my 1-2 on him. Same with the bear. So Saul listened to him, because Saul like, man, this little young dude, man, Goliath been warring since he was young. This nigga Goliath, this big ugly Hamite, this big ugly African, been going to war since he was young. So in his mind, he like, ain't no way, David, you gonna go up here and fight Goliath. He like, nah, stand down, stand down. And David like, man, let me go. Like, I'm telling you, I'm gonna gas him out. Like, I'm gonna put hands on him. I'm gonna put David. So like, if David was like, I'm gonna put David like, I'm gonna put Goliath on his pockets. So after Saul heard him out, he go ahead and let him do what he do. So, fast forward, we already know King David hit him with the, you know what I mean? What's it called? A slingshot. And then ran over there, cut off Goliath's head, and was like, this the nigga, like, this, man, this who y'all was scared of? Him? Look, but King David was like, also too, matter of fact, let me jump down. I do want to read this. Hold on. Because King David was the youngest out of all his siblings. Matter of fact, I'm going to start at verse 33. Now, this is 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 33. Check this out. And Saul said to David, thou art not able to go against the Philistine to fight with him, for thou art but a youth and a man of war, and he a man of war from his youth. So this is Saul doubting David, like I just broke down. Verse 34, and David said unto Saul, thy servant. So David talking to Saul now, he like, man, your servant, talking about himself. He said, thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear, and took a lamb out of the flock. Verse 35, and I went after him, and smote him, and delivered it out of his mouth, him by his beard, and smote him, and slew him. So think about this cat, David, like, he risked his life to go against a lion and a bear to go get a lamb, because it was his father's, and because he took his job serious. Like, he like, man, I ain't about to just let this lion come take this lamb. That, like, nah, bro, we ain't about to do that. Nope. So David has already proven that once you learn in here, like, you a young brother in the truth, right? You take your oath serious. You a trooper, you be the best trooper. You understand? You be the best trooper possible, because if you can't take small tasks, if you can't take on small tasks, how are you going to handle big tasks? So the Lord is like showing you, or lining it up to show you who King David is. You see what I'm saying? He went to go grab up a lion and a bear just to get a sheep back. A sheep. So just imagine if he did that for his father's sheep. Imagine what would he do for his nation. That's the point. Imagine what he would do for the people that he looks after. You see the attributes that you have to be a leader. You see the attributes you had to be a king of the Most High God. If King David went to go risk his life for his father's sheep, to go unalive a bear and a lion, they ain't have weapons like we have today. They ain't have AR-15s. They ain't have 50 caliber guns. They didn't have any of that back then. That means he had to get physical. He had to get physical. He had to. But my point being is, If King David did that for his father's lamb, the flock that he was watching, imagine what he would do for the nation of people who he loved, for his nation. He wasn't chosen to be a king or a leader to be the best dressed or have the best car or to, have the best dot pocket on his side. King David wasn't doing it for that. He did it because he actually stood on business. He actually loved his nation. He actually loved protecting the flock. You understand the point? So let me keep going. Verse 37. Now here it is. Verse 37 right here. Now this is heavy to me, King David. David said, moreover, Yahweh that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine. And Saul said unto David, Dawadah, go, and the Most High be with thee. He said, go. David told him, like, look, man, this is what I do. I get busy. And Saul heard him and was like, all right, youngster. All right, youngster, you young whippersnapper, go ahead. Go ahead and handle your business, right? All right, let me drop down to where do I want to? Drop down. Man, it's the part where he was like King David was saying something. Okay, verse 36. Verse 36, here you go. Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear. Okay, yeah, verse 36. Check this out. Thy servant, King David, is talking to Salakia. Well, he wasn't king at this time. So David is talking to King Saul, right? Verse 36. Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear. And this uncircumcised, like this nigga got the nerve, this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them. Like, look, I killed this lion and this bear. And this uncircumcised, this heathen is going to be just like this damn bear and just like this lion. King David wasn't no joke. And he already knew he wasn't a joke because he knew the Lord was with him. He had faith in the Most High God. He didn't have faith in the weapons that he had. He didn't have faith in, something carnal. He said, the Lord delivered me from these beasts. So the Lord is going to deliver me from this Philistine that everybody is afraid of. So King David had faith in the Most High God, and that's the most important thing as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. That's what we need to realize. That's where our faith needs to be, with the Most High. If our faith isn't with the Most High, then we already lost, because we are powerless. We are limitless. We don't have the resources and the technology. We don't have anything. We don't have anything. All we have is the Most High. You understand? And the Christian church has done a horrible job of showing Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians the true power of the Most High God. They summed up our power. The only thing we pray for is hitting the goddamn lottery tickets. Lord, can you please send me these lottery numbers? Lord, can you just tell this woman to shut the heck up? Shut the hell up. We look at the Most High God as a genie. The Lord, King David, didn't look at the Most High God as a genie. He wanted to serve the Lord, to protect his brethren, to do better by his nation. The Lord give you the lottery tickets right now. All you're gonna do is lose it all in a matter of You get the average Negro get $200-300 million. He gonna be broke in 5 years. Because first off, you're gonna go give it back to the oppressor. You're gonna be doing things you ain't got no business doing. You're just gonna be oppressed more. You're gonna be a drug addict, a drunk, any and everything up under the sun. But King David, he strived to serve the Lord. And that's what we should try to do. You understand? So fast forward, right? King David, he knocked off Goliath. Let me see. And the Philistine, matter of fact, let me read verse 44. And the Philistine said to David, come to me, and I will give thy flesh unto the fowls of the air and to the beasts of the field. Verse 45. Then said David to the Philistine, thou comest to me with the sword and with the spear and with the shield. But I come to thee in the name of the Most High of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied, Salakia. So David talking, and he talking, man, if this don't get you on the edge of your seat, you're like, man, you coming with a sword, a shield. I see all your muscles. I heard about your war stories. And nigga, I ain't impressed. I ain't impressed with none of that. Because you disrespected my power. You disrespected the Most High. You disrespected my people. Yeah, I heard about you and all your battles. I see you got your breastplate on. You got your spear and your sword. You think you about to get active. Really, you about to get humiliated because I serve Yahweh, the Most High God. And that's the God of the Israelites. That's the God of the blacks, the God of the Hispanics and the Native Indians, man. We serve that same God King David did, the God who allowed him to defeat the Goliath. We can defeat our oppressor the same way if we come together. We can defeat our oppressor if we start loving each other. We can defeat our oppressor if we obey the Most High God's laws. We can defeat our oppressor if we just simply love one another. And what is love? Keeping the commandments. Yeah, that's heavy. That's deep. Because the commandments shows us how to love perfectly. You get what I'm saying? We've been hating each other for so long. That's why we're powerless. We don't have any power. The oppressor can give you some power, but it's for a limited time. The power that your oppressor gives you is for a limited time. You see what I'm saying? And we running out of time, so it's going to be part 2. I'm going to carry on this lesson next week on how King David and Johnathan is a good example of a friendship and a good example of brotherhood, because we need more good examples of brotherhood. We need more examples of brotherhood and friendships, what real friendships is. Not the friendships that we learned in the world. Not your nigga coming home from prison. Oh, man, free my nigga, free my dog. And then you toss him a pack. If you don't know what a pack is, you know what I mean? You gotta see, you gotta understand, you gotta smell what I'm selling. You toss your homie a pack when he get home, meaning you're going to give your homie drugs in order to allow him to go lock himself back up, because that's what you think brotherhood is. You're going to throw him some bands. You're going to throw him some change. You're going to put a pack in his hand, and then he's going to get out, sell drugs again, and go back to prison. That's not brotherhood. That's not true love according to the Bible. That's not true love, because money is the root of all evil. There are more important things in life than money. There are more important things in life than carnality. Things you want to pleasure yourself all the time. But pleasuring yourself all the time is oppression, believe it or not. You see all those rappers work like Kanye. He's worth, well, it's two net. He has a network that they say he's worth like $400 million. And then Kanye said he's worth close to $3 billion. But that's still a hell of a lot of money, either way that it goes. But the reason why the average person who is wealthy like that, like Floyd Mayweather, Kanye West, they are oppressed. They have to keep working in order to make themselves be bigger than what they really are. You are nowhere near as big as your oppressor. Our oppressor owns everything. Our oppressor owns everything. They own the clothes that you wear. They own the cars that you buy. They own the land that you renting from and building on. They own literally everything. So some Negro who has $2-3 billion, $600 million, in reality, is still the oppressors. It's still the oppressors. You can't flex like the wicked because the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And the only reason the earth is given into the hand of the wicked is because of our disobedience. Because we want to hate the Mexicans. Because we don't have brotherhood like King David and Johnathan. We don't have brotherhood like Christ and the disciples. We don't have brotherhood like Moses, who wanted to see his people free, who risked his whole career in Egypt to see his people free. If you can understand Moses, you can understand why money isn't more important than your nation. Anybody who's going to put mammon above his own people, he's a punta. Did I say that right? Is a punto? Punto. He's a punto. He's a punta. Whatever how you say it, it's a card. Y'all check me later if I said it right. Anybody that puts money and wealth and riches and materialistic gain over his entire nation, what the nigga Lil John said, he's a bia. I'm gonna say that. Can I say that? He's a bia. King David wasn't like that. The men of the Most High God, Moses, King David, Yahweh, they wasn't like that. King David proved himself. He went and got the lamb out of the damn lion's mouth, out of the bear's mouth. If he did that for a lamb, if he did that for his father's flock, because he was about his father's business, imagine what he would do for the nation. Imagine what he would do for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, we're gonna carry this on to next week. We're gonna get it on next week. We're gonna finish this topic. You know what I mean? And like I said, if this is your first time logging on, like, share, subscribe, mark your calendars for the Midwest Cookout, get Captain Marquardt a hand, and the lecture down here in Kansas City. I don't think I gave the date. Before I get out of here, let me get a date. Let me give the date of the lecture. I don't see the date. Okay, so like the date is on there. So June 28th, right here in Kansas City, my camp leader, Officer Malak, will be giving a lecture. And it's going to be June 28th, 6000 Wilson Avenue, Kansas City, Missouri, 64123. You understand? From 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. right here in Kansas City. Black excellence. Black excellence. You understand? With all the black fatigue that's going on, it's time to hear about some black excellence. Don't y'all agree? Don't y'all like black excellence? That's what I thought. Then after that, camp. We're going to be having camp on 1300 Grand Boulevard, Kansas City, Missouri, 64106. I forgot to mention, the Midwest Monster Mayhem, Captain Marquardt himself will be in the building. You understand? So if you ain't in KC the 28th of June, and here in a couple of weeks, you're going to be missing out. The lecture, camp with the Midwest Monster Mayhem, and then we're gonna go turn the city up. It's litty after that. We're gonna go turn the city up right here in KC. So everybody want to pull up, everybody want to yank up, and pull up. You feel me? So yeah, it's gonna be a time. Don't miss it. And with that, shalom. Yabba Shema Shabbat to the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shema Thabba Shemi Asha to the sisters. Shalom.